Today on Steelers Talk, I'm going to be breaking down new Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith's offensive philosophy and scheme, and going to tell you what you can expect from the Pittsburgh Steelers offense from a schematic standpoint as we approach the 2024 season. Before we get into it today, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon and like today's show if you believe in Arthur Smith like I do. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to kick off today's show. And with that, let's get into it here. And the first thing I want to talk about is where Arthur Smith comes from, what his resume looks like, and what his scheme is. Okay, so let's first talk about his experience here recently. He was the offensive coordinator in Tennessee from 2019 through 2020, and then he was the head coach in Atlanta here since 2021. His offensive scheme is the second-generation West Coast offense. He is inspired by Mike Shanahan, of course, Kyle Shanahan's father, who was a big figure in the 90s. And then he's more known for elevating the talent that he has to work with on offense. So last year, he had arguably the worst starting quarterback in football, and yes, I'm including Kenny Pickett in that discussion, and Desmond Ridder. Ridder was terrible, all right? And despite that, they were about league average in yards per game, they were league average in yards per play, and then they were above league average on third down percentage and rushing yards per game. So the thing that he's really known for is really developing a bruising run game with the outside zone run scheme, and the fact that he was able to get to these kinds of numbers, right? And those weren't great numbers, but when you take into account you had a quarterback in Desmond Ridder that had a really, really poor season last year, for being completely honest with you, it's pretty impressive what he was able to do with the talent that he had. If he had a better quarterback, like, say, a Ryan Tannehill like he had in Tennessee, and mind you, Ryan Tannehill is not a fantastic quarterback. Here's what you can get with a dominant running back in Derrick Henry, a decent quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, and some good weapons like A.J. Brown. You get into the top 5 or at least top 10 in every single major offensive category, just like the Titans were in 2020 when they were the number one seed with Ryan Tannehill in a loaded AFC conference. You look at the numbers from that year for Tannehill, who, by the way, has only looked like a top 10 quarterback in the league in Arthur Smith's system. Before and after, he has looked bad. 33 touchdowns to Ryan Tannehill that 2020 season, and only 7 interceptions, and over 3,800 yards passing. So this is somebody that elevates his quarterbacks, elevates the talent around him, and that he is given to deal with. And the reason for that is that his offense is simple, but it's extremely effective, right? They run very similar concepts. They run very similar formations all the time. They make everything look like everything else, and they know what they're executing every single time. It's very clear for the players, which leads to a high level of execution. Fill in the blank for me right now before we really get into the nitty-gritty here and the nerdy parts of today's video, breaking down the specifics of his scheme. The Steelers will have a top blank offense in the NFL in 2024. Top 15, top 10, top 5 even. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So we'll start here with Arthur Smith's philosophy, starting with heavy formations. Now, what do I mean by heavy formations? I mean multiple tight ends, 2 and 3 tight ends, and he likes to use a fullback as well. So he likes to get a lot of bodies on the line of scrimmage. He likes everybody to block, and he likes to have lots of people that can block on the field, all right? You have to be able to block in this offense, plain and simply, because the foundation is the run game. They do like to use that fullback and extra tight end sets as well. You're also going to see a lot of condensed formations. Now, what that means is that everybody is close to the ball, right? You're not going to see a whole lot of wide receivers out wide or anything like that. Everybody's going to be relatively close to the ball. So here's one of Arthur Smith's favorite formations here. As you can see, this is in 12 personnel, which means 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, 1 running back. You can see the 2 tight ends on either side of the line with 2 wide receivers just outside there with Derrick Henry there as the back. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of this in the Pittsburgh Steelers playbook, especially on early downs this year. The reason why he likes to do this is he likes to go to the outside zone, and with everybody condensed close to the ball, that gives the outside lane to the running back. So watch out for Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris to eat in this particular formation. And then another thing that Arthur Smith does really well is that he pairs everything up within the same formations so everything looks the same. So if you get a certain formation, this is, by the way, the exact opposite of Matt Canada. With Matt Canada, they could be in a specific formation and know exactly what play they were about to run. With Arthur Smith, they run 8 different plays out of the same formation, so the defense has no clue what's coming, and the offense is going to be able to execute it at a high level because they play in that formation all the time, because they practice this play hundreds of times before the season even begins, which gives them a leg up because they've practiced it so many times. Now, coming up next here on Steelers Talk, we're really going to get into the specifics, okay? Certain concepts that Arthur Smith loves to go to that you're going to see on Steelers game days this year. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to whatever event that you choose. So if you want to go see Arthur Smith's offense at Acrisure Stadium this year, Game Time's got the lowest price guarantee on every single Steelers ticket this season, preseason, regular season, and hopefully postseason as well. You can also go see a ball game at the beautiful PNC Park, or you can just go to a concert, a theater performance, a comedy show. If you can get tickets to something, guys, Game Time's got the lowest price guarantee. They also have all-in pricing on their app, so whatever price you see is what you pay at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Another thing with Arthur Smith's philosophy, guys, you're going to see a lot of outside zone running scheme, okay? And what that means is you're going to have lots of, pretty much what that is, guys, is everybody on the offensive line is moving, and then it's the responsibility of the running back to read the correct lane while everyone is moving at a horizontal angle. You guys see it with the San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Rams, all the best offenses in the league are predominantly outside zone running schemes, and we got a great duo of running backs here in Pittsburgh this year. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, both of these guys super explosive, especially Warren, who's got an electric jump cut, which is going to be utilized beautifully in this scheme. And really the foundation of this offense is the offensive line. If the offensive line can't run block, then the rest of this offense will crumble to the ground. So you're really hoping that these guys that you're going to be bringing in this year to be the starting offensive line for the Steelers can get it done. And I do have a high level of confidence that these guys are going to play well this season. Then we get to the favorite play action concept from Arthur Smith here, which is called the drift concept, okay? And this is a concept that has been used a lot in Shanahan-style offenses. Here is a page out of the 49er playbook with this concept here. So you guys can see the X receiver there all the way to the left is going to run a 10-yard in route. They call it a drift route off of play action. So when the linebackers sink in to try to defend the run, that's going to leave a hole behind them, and that's where the X receiver is going to file in. The quarterback, after play action, hits the back foot, hits that guy who should be wide open. That was the play that made A.J. Brown a superstar in Tennessee. And then if you have one-on-one coverage on the outside there, the Z is the alert route. So Russell Wilson, if you've got Calvin Austin III wide open one-on-one on the alert, you can go rip that as well. So this is definitely Arthur Smith's bread and butter offensively, working off of that outside zone running scheme. And then another thing that they like to do with the play action is deep shots. And this is specifically why they went out and got Russell Wilson this offseason, because Arthur Smith requires a quarterback that can throw the deep ball. And by the way, look at the wide receiver room for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Every single one of the top receivers in this room can be a deep threat. Roman Wilson with his elite speed. Calvin Austin III the same way. Van Jefferson was known more as a deep threat in LA. Same thing with Quez Watkins and Scotty Miller. Plus we know George Pickens can win one-on-one down the boundary. All of these guys can win down the field, and when paired with a guy like Russell Wilson, who can absolutely throw that deep ball. He had a 65-yard air yard touchdown last year to Cortland Sutton, so he can still sling this thing. This is why they're bringing in Russ, to work off that play action, throw that deep ball to these deep threat receivers, and get big play touchdowns. But you might be saying, But Jack, what about the drop back game? What if it's 3rd and long? What are the Steelers going to be doing then? Are they going to be doing play action? Because it's an obvious passing situation. The answer to that question is no. And when they get into those specific types of situations here, they're going to do 2 specific things when it comes to what they do on 3rd and long. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to go to alert side and concept side split field concepts. And this is what Russell Wilson has done a lot in Seattle specifically, okay? So you're going to see something like this, where you're going to have one receiver down there at the bottom of your screen. It's DK Metcalf in this. That'll be George Pickens. That's the alert route. If he has one-on-one coverage, Russell Wilson's going to throw the deep ball. But then there's going to be a concept side that can beat any coverage, man or zone. Right now, Seattle is playing an arches concept, which is a spacing concept that can beat zone coverage or man coverage. So pretty much what Russ does is he determines if the alert route is open. If it's not, he finds the open man on the concept side, and he figures out the right receiver to throw to. That's going to be something that they do quite a bit this year. It's been Russ's bread and butter throughout his career on 3rd and long, and that's what I expect this offense to look like in those situations as well. But another thing you might be saying is, Jack, what about the Justin Fields package? Could we see a specific package for Justin Fields this year? And the answer to that question is absolutely, positively yes. You will see Justin Fields with certain packages where he can go in there on 3rd and short situations, goal line situations, all that stuff, and he is going to be an absolute menace with his legs that can also be a threat to throw. So I think Arthur Smith is going to have some very interesting tricks up his sleeve. He's known as one of the best red zone play designers in football for a reason, and I definitely think that that's going to show itself with Justin Fields this year. And I think as a result, this Pittsburgh Steelers offense is going to be one of the best short yardage and red zone offenses in the National Football League that executes this offense to a high level of degree. Okay, and then also with Justin Fields here, guys, is that if Russell Wilson stinks and he is not living up to our expectations this year, they will go to Justin Fields eventually. And when they do, I highly expect this to be even more of a run-heavy offense, and they're really going to lean into the read option running game with Justin Fields at quarterback if he is, in fact, the starter down the stretch. Because think about it, man. Down the stretch against those tough teams, their best chance at winning football games, if Russell Wilson isn't a good quarterback anymore, is to run the piss out of the football, both from the running backs and the quarterback position with Justin Fields, and that's going to give them their best shot to win. So if Russell Wilson stinks, it will be Justin Fields down the stretch. And because, AFC North weather, it's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, it's going to be snowy. The teams that can run the football the best are going to have the advantage. That's exactly what the Steelers are going to have with Justin Fields. Now make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now. If you want more nerdy videos like this, I've been thinking about doing a video like this on Mike Tomlin's Steelers defensive scheme. I love talking football, man. I love talking X's and O's. If you want a video like this one for the Steelers defense, make sure you like today's video so we know that you like this one. Make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss any of our videos.